Okay, so one of the interesting things that happens with movies is that they change over time, or you change over time. They're the same, but you start to see them differently. And my memory of watching Blow with Johnny Depp is that it was like just a cool kind of drug dealer movie, maybe like Scarface a little bit, or Donnie Brasco, or something like that. But this time I enjoyed it. It's still great, but I saw it in a completely different way. And there are just a couple things I want to talk about because I think they're super important and they help me see it in this kind of new way. The first thing is, of course, it's about the decisions that we make, right? That's Breaking Bad, everything. You know, he, when he's younger, sees his dad struggling with money, and his mom leaves his dad a couple of times at least because of those troubles. And he kind of, as a child, decides right there, look, I'm not going through that. And then once he moves to California, gets a taste of money from selling drugs, he's in, right? That's it. So that's the decision he makes, sets him on this course. What I think is really fascinating is that his mom was upset with his dad because he wasn't making enough money. And then the son ends up making a ton of money through drug dealing, so she doesn't like the methods. But she has a problem with it. And it's like, wait a minute, which side are you on? So it can only, you have to do what she thinks, but you have to do it in the way that she thinks you should do it. That seems crazy to me. She's all twisted and turned around. And this leads me to one of the interesting things that I discovered about the movie this time, which was the dynamic between Johnny Depp's character, his relationship to his mom, and his dad, and how different they are. The dad seems to love him. Doesn't matter what he does, right? And the mom is this weird, twisted, greedy person who can't stop his fate of becoming this drug pin, even though she tries. And I'll explain why in a minute, because there's something really interesting that I noticed this time. And the dad is just like embraces everything. He's like, look, I love you. You do what you got to do. As long as you're happy, I'm okay with it. And there's this really interesting moment about 30 minutes in where his girlfriend had just died, the son's, Johnny Depp's character, George's girlfriend had just died from cancer. He's a fugitive. He's on the run. He stops by the house to see his parents. He says hello to his mom, but she calls the police, says, hey, there's a fugitive here. So while the police are coming, there's a moment he has with his dad where he sits at the dining room table and he says, look, Pop, I'm great at what I do. You know, I'm just good at it. I'm very good at it. And the dad says to him, get that tissue ready. He looks at him and he says, son, you would have been great at anything you did. And there's like a real moment there between them. And then less than 5 seconds later, cop cars from the mother calling the police on her own son, which I think is just blasphemy, or I don't know, not blasphemy, but it's something terrible. And as they're taking him away, you know, he's in disbelief. So is the dad about like, how could you do this to your own son? Call the police and say there's a fugitive here. And she says to him as he's driving, as they're taking him away in the cop car, you need to straighten your life out. Here's the interesting thing. One, she's backwards, right? She wants money, but it's got to be her way. She's crazy. But she wants him to straighten his life out. She calls the police on him thinking she's helping him to straighten his life out, whatever the fuck that means. And then what happens to him? He goes to prison. Who's his cellmate? Diego, the guy who introduces him to Pablo Escobar, who gets him to... Do you know what I mean? Like she's trying to fuck with his fate. She's trying to like guide what he's doing to dictate, you know, his life for him. And she ends up helping him along on the path that she doesn't like. Isn't that crazy how that works? I think it's so fascinating that happens. Like she couldn't stop it from happening. And so I don't know. I really got a good sense, a better sense, I think, of the dynamic between the parents and George. And oh man, when he plays the recorded message for his dad who's dying, he's at home, but he listens to it on the recorder. It's like, oh man, it really, leads me to my second point, which is this movie that I previously was like, oh, it's a fun movie. He's, Paul Rubens is great. They're selling coke, doing blow, whatever. No, man, it's intensely emotional and dramatic, because here he is with his dad who's dying, great relationship with his dad, loves his dad loves him, unconditionally, thinks he's great, both ways. And this moment where he's listening on the recorder really gets you. And this leads me to the what I think the movie is really about, which is him and his daughter. He doesn't know anything else, right? George. He doesn't know anything else. All he can think of to do to make money is sell drugs. He's been in and out of prison, right? He's finally got his daughter. He's on the verge of maybe even getting custody from the mom. And he thinks, she says to him, like, if you start helping us out, you haven't paid any child support, start helping us out and we'll talk if you want custody of her. And they get along so well. He loves his daughter loves her. She's maybe like 8, give or take, somewhere around there. And to think of her being in like a bad situation, any child, anyone who's had a kid out there or has been around kids, nieces, nephews, whatever, when you really think about what's happening, the vulnerability of a 7 or 8-year-old who's grown up among all these, she's healthy and fine, but she's grown up in this weird drug environment. Her dad's in and out of prison. This is his last chance, to raise her. He wants to just make one more coke deal or whatever to get them to California to start a new life. And you can see that the officers, when they bust him at the end, spoiler alert, but this is like 2000, I don't know, 1999, something like that. I can't remember. 90s maybe? Put it below if you know. He's got this one last chance, and he in my opinion, he fucked up, because he should have just, if you love your daughter that much, you got to go straight. I hate to sound like the mother here, but you got to work at McDonald's, whatever you got to do to stay out of prison. That's the thing that's going to get you. Forget about the poverty, forget about the money. If you're good at selling drugs, you're going to be good at selling cars, or, do you know what I mean? Like, figure out a way to be with your daughter. That's the most important thing. And I'm not saying it wasn't important to him, but to him, the only way he could think of was to put himself back in the situation, which puts him in prison for the rest of his life, or for the most part. I think, interestingly, I did look this up. I think the rumor is that he and his daughter did eventually make amends or get together when he got out of prison in like 2019 or 20, and he died shortly thereafter. But it doesn't matter in a way. You missed it. You missed it from she was 8 until whatever, 40 or 35 or whatever she was when they sort of reconnected. Like, you missed it, man. You only get that one window. And that really hit home for me this time, of like, no, don't do this. What are you doing? I knew it was going to happen, but it made a different impact on me this time, because I was thinking about the daughter and just thinking like your 7-year-old daughter you're walking her to and from school. You're trying to reconnect. You've got this chance to get her. Just do anything but risk going to prison, which is what he did. I guess that makes for a good movie. It's a sad ending. Of course, he starts imagining he's seen his daughter visiting him in prison. She's not. He's imagining it. And to me, that's what this movie, it's a big part of what it's about, right? The decisions we make, and how, even though we don't want our past to shape us, it does, because he makes this decision based on old habits, right? I would have said, buy Charles Duhigg's the Habits of Money People, or whatever it is. I don't know. I did read it. It's a good book. But to break away from those old patterns, too difficult, I guess, for George. A lot of interesting symbolism in this movie. Loved it. Still great. It's on Netflix. Still holds up. Timeless, I think. Blow, Johnny Depp. 2, 3, 4, 5 thumbs up. Loved it. Let me know what you think. If you watched it in a while, if you've never seen it, you got to get on it. But if you've seen it recently or you're thinking about watching it, let me know what you think. I want to hear from you. Let's talk below in the comments.